Hey everybody, welcome back to James Draws Everything. This is James, and continuing today with drawing every country in the world's flag. And this will be your first time seeing this episode, but it will be my second time doing this. So I do apologize yesterday. There was no video, so I'm going to give you two today. Had a little bit of a problem with my the battery in my computer, and I could not for the life of me find the charger. So yesterday's episode was all for naught, but I think I remember just enough about Latvia to where I can fill you guys in. All right, so it's a pretty easy flag. I'm just gonna do a quick run through the history of Latvia. So home to early Balt people, right? So kind of what becomes the Baltic peoples of this region. So a lot of similarities with neighboring Estonia and Lithuania. Okay, so Proto-Baltic peoples, they think, arrived there around 3000 BC. They developed some ties with the Romans. So this place was kind of like on the trade routes between the Byzantine Empire and Rome, and kind of have some various sort of regional powers there before kind of what becomes known as like modern Latvia kind of forms. This place was kind of like Lithuania. It was very pagan, so one of the last places to be Christianized. Forcibly, of course, so there was a crusade sent to this part of the world to convert them pagans to Christianity, and those were Germanic peoples that were sent. This is around the 12th century. So, and this was part of a wider crusade against them northern pagans of these regions. So this place then becomes part of the Grand Duchy of Lithuania. So that Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth kind of absorbs this into its lands. Again, that was one of the most powerful states in Europe for quite some time. One of the biggest sort of countries or kingdoms or whatever you want to call it. And the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, of course, doesn't last forever, right? So there's a Polish-Swedish war, and this becomes the capital of Swedish Livonia, right? So it becomes kind of like a seat of the Swedish Empire, right? After Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth loses this land. So they kind of start modernizing. They erase serfdom. The sort of again, taking steps towards becoming like a modern state. And then there's a series of wars, right? With they're called the Northern Wars. So Russia, that they're kind of they're entering the world stage as a player in the 1700s. A lot of Latvians actually die during this time from the plague, right? So the Black Death, like a little before this. Part of this place goes to Russia. So Russia's kind of carving up Poland in 1795. So they become part of the Russian Empire. And so they kind of keep some local traditions. German sort of becomes like the official language, and then that's sort of changing as we come into modernity, right? It becomes more of a Russian place. So yeah, as you know, the Baltics, that's kind of the gateway between Europe and Russia, right? So you're going to have a lot of influence of both powers there. And this is sort of where you get the 19th century. You get the kind of like a national uprising for Latvians, right? So you got like the Young Latvian movement, so Latvian nationalism, trying to kind of go against like German and Russian rule. And they declare independence after World War I. And like everybody knows, I've said this, a whole bunch of times on this channel. If you're next to Russia and you declare your independence after World War I, that is the absolute worst time for declaring independence, because the Soviet Union turns around and just gobbles up everything, right? So this place becomes part of the Soviet Union. And Latvia kind of, they have a little bit different of a story, because you do have like some left-leaning, like sort of communist types in Latvia. And Latvia always had an extremely organized and strong military. So they had this group, the Latvian Rifles. And, Lenin and his group of murderous thugs, the communists, they did have some issues organizing an army, right? Because Russia was in full-blown civil war, at this point. And the Latvian Rifles, actually, because they were already like such an organized military group, they were able to really utilize that to help the Russian Revolution, right? So the Latvians kind of, things wouldn't have really developed in that revolution without the Latvians. So for better or worse, the Soviet Union can thank Latvia for helping them institute communism. So they are involved in World War II, right? So this place, again, kind of torn apart between Germans and Soviets, right? Poland takes kind of more of a hit there. But yeah, like Operation Barbarossa, that goes through Latvia. About 34,000 Latvians died. And then a lot of them were sent to Siberia for death camps as well. So they were occupied by Germany for a little while, until going back to the Soviet Union at the end of World War II. And that's okay. So that's Latvia. And I guess it's since we're talking about that, and this kind of applies to a lot of these Soviet countries, I figure this is a good time to talk about that. But yeah, the Soviet Union. So they call it, Russia today, they call it the Great Patriotic War, right? World War II was where they beat the Nazis and they held back Nazism. Well, they didn't really treat their own very well. You figure these guys that were helping you defeat the Axis powers, they would get exposed, right, to German culture, or even the United States, right? Like when these guys were fighting alongside the United States against the Axis powers, they were exposed to like nice cars, better technology, food, like just all sorts of stuff that was not really prevalent in the backwater that was the Soviet Union. So because of that, they would get like they'd be like, well, why, I heard communism is so great, and then, I'm with these Allied troops now, and like they have it like 10 times better than me. And yeah, so that was a bad thing, right? You can't be telling your people, your soldiers, that, communism is this great shakes, and it's like, the future, and then everybody else has it way better than you. So to reward those troops for defending the Soviet Union, they were sent to prison camps in Siberia, right? So a lot of Latvians, that happened to them. Yeah, but then of course, 1990 they gained independence, just like everybody else, from the collapsing Soviet Union. And I guess Latvia may be a little bit different than some of them other communist countries, because they did have a very strong kind of national identity ahead of time. So they made the jump out of communism definitely more successful than others, like say maybe like Ukraine or Moldova, Bulgaria. Very much a highly developed economy. GDP per capita, like they're kind of one of the richest states in Europe. It's been a pretty strong country, pretty good comeback story ever since the fall of the Soviet Union. And they're pretty much integrated into all like the major European trade agreements. So with that said, what is this flag about? I guess it's actually one of the oldest flags in the world. So it's just pretty simple, right? Kind of a maroon with a white stripe, and not even really sure what the colors mean, all right? Because this is an antique flag. Early Latvian tribes were using this in about 1280 AD, right? So this is an extremely old flag, right? The design here is simple, but there's a lot of history there. So it's always been seen as a Latvian symbol for hundreds and hundreds of years. So that's pretty cool. And so that is Latvia, guys. And again, sorry for the little snafu in yesterday's episode, but I made it up to you. It's back. There's Latvia. And let me know what you think. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I will catch you on the next video.